Okay, hello, good afternoon, everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. It's great to see so many of you returning to this series of Kudo customer webinars. We hope you are well. We hope your teams are well. It continues to be a very interesting time for us. So today we're just going to focus on one of our interactions with a core product in the marketplace, that being Microsoft Teams. And I suspect a number of you are either currently using Teams or looking at it as part of the ongoing suite to go forward. But it represents one of the products that's really come through and shone during this period of lockdown, during a period where we've all had an opportunity, I think, by being a guest or by having family meetings, to sample a number of these great virtual meeting tools and bringing to life a different way of meeting with people, a different way of working, sharing and collaborating. And whilst we see the types of products like Zoom being a sort of almost a specialist office at the present time, Microsoft Teams is obviously a very big and well-rounded product which a lot of people have either tasted through some of the 365 services and just migrating on, or they've really launched into. So we look forward to seeing your reaction to this and working with you to understand how Teams and your business communication solution, your telephony products, can all come together. While we're here, I'm also going to touch on some of the Cisco BroadSoft, Cisco WebEx products that are merging into this space, because as usual, what we want to do is work with you across a number of choices to try and find out the best solution that's going to deliver on the requirements and considerations of the business. And I've just noted down a couple of considerations here. This is coming out of real discussions around the business community, discussions with our customers. And clearly at the top at the moment is the health and well-being of our staff. That's the physical and the mental well-being. So when we look at products like this, we're thinking about people who are concerned about commuting to work, people who are concerned about proximity of being in the same workspace, but equally thinking about people who are feeling insecure or trapped at home and really want to get back to the workplace. So collaboration is nice in so much that it helps the office and non-office people to get together. So it doesn't matter which way around people are. Obviously, we've got an eye on your customers' experience. Are you as a business still communicating with your customers in the way that they would want to? Is there an opportunity to expand that using technology? And can we make sure that the qualities are staying up even though we're not in our normal locations, many of us? We want to look at productivity. I think the first stage of COVID-19 was really just to help people get up and running as best they could. Since then, we've been working with our customers to try and refine the solutions and make sure that we've got staff and departments working as slickly as possible, regardless of their location. And finally, we want to keep a weather eye on what might happen next. I don't think we're out of the woods on this. I think we have to be careful and make sure that we take the opportunity to structure ourselves in a way that allows us to be nimble if things change again. So hopefully our team can work with you and do a little bit of forecasting and make sure we're in great shape to move if we need to with some other products. So I break down Teams users into three categories. And again, I'm interested to know if you share this sort of viewpoint within your own organization. I have what I call the team natives. And these are the people who not only use the video, the voice and the screen sharing meeting section within Teams, but are pretty much involved in the project management, the construction of working groups, the management of tasks, the sharing of documents, and basically running even the chat and all the interactions through the Teams environment. And it's certainly a very strong tool for all of that. Then we've got what I call the Teams collaborators, and many of these people are new to it and have been born into this environment because of the COVID-19 crisis. But again, you will have discovered, if this is you, that you're able to run voice and video conferences and do screen shares, and it's a very elegant meeting and collaboration tool for office and non-office workers. And then we've got another group of users or extensions which need to be catered for. The truly mobile, the people who would normally work off a mobile phone or simply have a voice service terminating on a mobile device of some description. Door entry phones, simplistic things like that. And then conference setups or people that we've got in pretty manual working environments like warehouses or ground staff or whatever we're dealing with in our teams, where the Microsoft Teams experience is less valuable, less wanted, and perhaps even just a sort of clumsy annoyance. And the idea of integrating a great telephony service or a great communication service like the Kudo service into a fabulous collaboration tool like Microsoft Teams is to try and win the best of both worlds. So today I'm going to touch on two things, again, because we like to try and approach things with a couple of choices. The first is the headline product. This is calls to Teams. And for those of you who are really into the Teams, the whole Microsoft Teams world, this could be a really great and simple way of getting your telephony solution inside that same pane of glass, so that you can operate within one app. As I take you through it, I'm going to go live in a minute and just show you it in brief. But it will facilitate actions for your PC-based Microsoft Teams, your mobile application if you're using Microsoft Teams on the mobile as well. It'll also interact with another device, so I'll step through that as well, a desktop device if you want one. These are 30-day products, and I think we'll talk much more about 30-day terms and making sure that you can change things swiftly and smoothly wherever possible. And it's been our belief for some time that the more we can do on a 30-day term with you, the more we can help you to react and change and become help your staff become as productive as possible through the use of technology. So we're there to help you take the core products and make them into a proposition, and then just bespoke each user individually to get the optimum performance. The second product that we're going to look at, therefore, is the UC1 Trio. Some of you may already be using Trio. You may have been on the webinars for Trio. It's a very strong product as a soft phone and collaboration client in its own right. But we're delighted to say that Cisco, with their WebEx product, and Microsoft with their Teams product, have worked together and created a direct API link between the two. So there will be a second opportunity to structure a bond between Microsoft Teams and the products that we offer from the Cisco WebEx world or the Cisco BroadSoft world. So what I'm going to do first is open up my Teams window. Now, I'm not generally a Teams user. I spend more time in the Cisco WebEx world myself. However, we do use this as a secondary meeting environment, and anybody I meet who uses Teams, we tend to meet in Teams because it's the friendly thing to do. But you'll be familiar if you're a Teams user with the team space where you create your working groups, the calendar space. But now I'm going to talk to you about the inclusion of your soft phone within that environment. And by using Call to Teams, what I can do is deploy a soft phone client into my normal window, my contacts window. I can still contact people by dialing them in Teams and have a Teams to Teams conversation. But if I want to dial out, I now have a driven dial pad. I can cut and paste. I can click on a direct link number and drive my calls out using the dial pad that's now been included. And Microsoft Teams will then communicate with my Calls to Teams app, which is resident as a device on my system. So as I've said, by having Calls to Teams, I get the ability to make calls from this app. I get the ability to make calls from my mobile app. And if you wanted to, there are some specialist handsets made by Polycom and I think Yealink as well, which you can deploy on your desk like a traditional phone. However, you do sign into it with your Teams credentials, not with your BroadWorks extension credentials as you might use now on a phone. So it is limited in so much that it is a Teams login rather than your normal standalone services. Of course, having installed and created the link between Microsoft Teams and the BroadWorks solution, the telephone solution, An inbound call will now ring and allow you to answer it as part of the Teams experience. So you'll get offered a Teams call and you'll take it, but it will be any incoming call that you have to your DDI, any incoming call that you have to a hunt group that you're a member of, and if you're a member of a queue, you'll get queue calls into that device as well. So it acts like any other device that you may want to pull together. So it's relatively simple. It's a bolt-on device service that you can add to your proposition. And as I'll confirm when we go through to the pricing page in a minute, the one thing we do have to recognize is that because it is using some Microsoft Teams telephony services, you will need to add to your Microsoft license stack by adding the common phone service or moving from E5 to E3 to include telephony services at that enterprise level if you're an enterprise customer. The price for this is really set by Microsoft, so you'd have to inquire of your Microsoft supplier. Roughly speaking, £6 per user for the common phone license, which can be added to enterprise customers as well. I'm not sure what your difference would be between an E3 and an E5 license if that was required. But again, simply by adding a Microsoft license and adding this service to your solution, you've got full integration with all of the services that you've got. And this allows you to then also retain things like the call recording, the queue services that you're running, the reporting that you get from UBOS, etc., etc. So that's option number one, and a great little option it is as well. There was me getting too excited. The second option that we are about to launch, and we'll come back to you and we'll show you the details of this perhaps when it comes through, but as I've said, there's a direct link now between the Cisco WebEx world and the Microsoft Teams world. So we can choose to download a WebEx calling app. This WebEx calling app will now simply drive your UC1 Trio. So if those of you who are familiar with the UC1 Trio, the application here can be used as the soft phone, but you will have a keypad in Teams as well. So you can dial numbers, you can clip numbers in, but it's simply going to pop up this independent application. Now clearly that means if anything happened to Teams one morning, you still have your full phone system running. It also means that for some of your workforce who perhaps don't work in Teams as much, you've still got these standalone, these soft phone options, which give you all of the functional control, all of the service control, and all of the options that you're used to with a normal extension service. So do please, if you're using Teams, if you're evolving a use of Teams and you'd like to experiment, do reach out to us. The account management team would be more than happy to take you through a demonstration, let you have a product, let you have a try, and see if it works out for you and your teams to either make you efficient by using this WebEx calling link, the link to your UC1 Trio product, or by using the fully integrated calls to Teams applications that we're showing there. So let's just go back and just round off what we're talking about here. If I can find my correct button, there we go. If I just round off by looking at the price points on this. Now, calls to Teams itself, very inexpensive, under £3 a month to bring the applications together. So if that brings a bit of inefficiency, control, simplicity to your devices, obviously, mobile device, PC device, you could be working from home, you can be working in the office. You may very well find that you don't need a hard phone, it's just a headphone experience that you've got. Includes the mobile and PC functionality, can work with a dedicated handset, and just remember you need to check up the price of those Microsoft licenses to bring your telephony capabilities in Microsoft up to speed. We'll release the confirmation of the details on the alternative, the link into UC1, which effectively, although you could say less elegant because the applications it's running two applications side by side. I think commercially it's obviously a very attractive one because we don't need to add so much license cost to achieve our goal. But there it is, choice to be considered, and both of those options available on a 30-day license. So Clearly, you're familiar with a lot of the products and services that you've already deployed and that we deploy. Just a quick reminder here of some of the things that have really come into play since we went into the lockdown, working from home, sort of forced change to our environment. One of our products, a Kixie, which is a live reporting and field management service, has been very popular, just really to allow managers who are used to seeing and existing with their teams in an office space to keep an eye and keep a guiding hand on the tiller by having live management reporting and a sort of mobile wallboard and that sort of thing. It may be worth investigating that, have a look at past webinars, speak to our account management team for a quick run over. But this is a really elegant and dynamic live and historic reporting tool that you can add to the suite, and certainly keeps an eye for you on both office and remotely managed staff, and particularly good at looking after things like missed calls from customers. And if you're running sales lines, of course, that's a particular concern when you haven't got your team all sat round together. The other service that, again, I think has taken off really very well, and I've always liked as a management tool, is the compliant call recording. So it covers all your GDPR requirements on call recording, but it allows you to listen in to your staff historically and just check, are they still saying stuff in the way that you want them to say it? Are they still getting their facts correct when they're talking to them? Is the ambient noise of their home environment conducive with your brand, with the message that you're trying to go to the customers? And I think it's delightful that we're all quite relaxed about the odd dog bark and deliveries and all that sort of thing. But we do need to make sure that the environment that we're presenting to our customers is on brand as much as we can. So call recording, I think, is a really useful tool. And then it's just to highlight, if you haven't looked at it for a while, do please come back to our team and talk about the other things that really optimize team performance and the customer experience. Call queues, you've probably had a look at with us, but this omni-channel contact center queues, the idea that you can have a chat queue from your website or a Twitter queue or an email queue. If you've got some high value inbound traffic from your customers who want to talk to you in different ways, there's a lot of different great options there, all of which come in the reporting suite. And finally, something we see rapidly growing all the time now is the CRM integration. So if you've got a CRM and you want to see whether you can plug it together with your phone system, reach out to the account management team. So that's the TED Lectures Specialist 18-minute run through. It is an overview for you just to simulate some thought, but do please come through and talk to us. We're very keen to make sure that, especially now with so much change around, you get a chance to look and understand the products that are there, test them, see if they're going to make efficiency changes to your business. Every penny's going to count, and if we can help you count a few pennies back in by bringing productivity up in this challenging environment, we'd love to do so. So reach out to your account manager. If you don't know your account manager's name, then give us a call and tell us to change the records on our CRM and reach out to you a bit more. But do come and join us, and we'll work together to try and make technology take the burden off our changing workplace environment. Have a great afternoon, and thanks again to you all for attending and having a look at the Teams integration options.